Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever, and I am really hoping it's not going to be the last ever, absolutely, completely random podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Rhodes, solo because, I guess none of my friends are really going to want to help me with this. Would be a shame, though, because I think a couple of them would be really great at this. But anyway, I'm solo for now. Maybe I'll have a partner sometime down the road. You never know. Maybe I'll be able to become a hit and I'll have some guests. That'd be great. But, yeah. Tonight I'm going to talk about Pokemon Go. I'm going to talk about No Man's Sky. I'm going to talk about anime, manga, some Transformers info. I mean, there was something neat that happened a couple weeks ago, and I don't think anybody really knew. And a few other things. But, for starters, I need to give a homage, not only to the CU podcast, but to my sponsor, because I need to pay the bills. And my sponsor is, sadly, myself. Hey, everybody. This is Andrew from A Roads 2012 on eBay. Are you looking for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Dragon Ball Z cards, Magic the Gathering, or Pokemon? DVDs, action figures, or just anything odd and unusual that you may not have known existed in the world? Well, if you are, swing by my page. I have a lot of crap for sale, and I list stuff up every month. If you follow me on Twitter at @OtakuRoads, you can actually see a lot of the stuff that I have up, because I tweet most of it on a daily basis. And I mean that. On an almost daily basis, I'm tweeting stuff that I have up for sale, and a few other things. So if you want to check me out on eBay, it's lowercase a RHOADS -2012. Or follow me on Twitter at OtakuRoads. I really don't mind if you want to do the following. I have a lot of followers. Well, 60, I think. But still, it's kind of cool. Alright, so No Man's Sky takes a huge nosedive. I mean, holy hell. A whole buttload of their users and players just vanished off the face of the earth. Wow. Now, I know the CU podcast talked about this. I know Ian on the podcast talked about it 2 weeks earlier. He gave a stunning review of it. I mean that. It was beautiful. I mean, goddamn, was it beautiful. But, yeah, I can kind of see it burning off now. Now, okay, they may not agree with me on this. I'm hoping that they might, but they may not, and you may not agree with me either. But let's face it, when it comes to video games, there's always going to be one thing that always happens. You're going to have the initial hype for the game. Then you're going to have the hype when it comes out, because it's going to be just on the tail end of the hype from the trailers and the excitement that you're feeling, and then just gets raised up a little higher, and then it starts to burn off. Because you're going to see how cool the game is. You're going to go, oh, this is amazing. I love this game. I'm going to play this every day. I'm never going to do anything else. And then a week or two later, you're going to get bored of it and fast, especially if it's an expansive universe like this. Now, I personally don't play the game, mostly because I don't have a PS4. I want to stress that. I don't have a PS4, so I don't play this game. But I have watched Let's Plays of it on YouTube, which I know a lot of people think that those are a joke. I personally think they're pretty neat. Some of them are really educational, and some of them are kind of enjoyable. Like, I'm not really going to name any names here, because I don't really know the usernames that did the No Man's Sky ones. But still, it gave me an in-depth feeling of the game. And I do have to admit, it is pretty cool. For those of you that don't know what the game is, it's basically adventure-style researching, mineral collecting sort of thing. It's what I kind of gather it to be. I could be wrong. I may be interpreting it wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. It sort of seems like Freelancer, and to me, it's like Freelancer, but a hell of a lot better. But then again, you never know. It could suck. I don't know. It's all in, whatever the person's opinion is of it. If you yourself think it blows, well, then it blows. If you think it's great, hey, that's your opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own. I think it's really neat. It looks pretty cool. But as far as a game that I would play, I would kind of have to go on the no side on that. Mostly for the fact that I just kind of can't see myself sitting down and playing this thing. If sitting down and watching somebody else play it, well, yeah, because then if I get bored, I can just, pause that video and I can just go do something else. I don't have to shut off a game console and save. And the kicker is, thanks to YouTube, I can continue watching where I picked up. Where I left off. I can pick up right where I left off, which is really cool. Because I've done that a few times. So that's really neat to me. But, yeah, this is really one of the neater games that I could see. It's definitely something cool. But losing so many people, it bothered me a little bit when I read the article about it. I'm like, holy hell, how can you lose so many people right off the bat or not too long after the game launches? And then it dawned on me, oh, yeah, you're going to get the burn off. But then when I was listening to the CU podcast this week, and Ian was talking about how, or I should say Ian and Pat were talking about how a lot of the game's stuff, like it was in the trailers, wasn't in the actual game. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so a lot of the players that jumped ship were probably yelling bait and switch. Like the trolls on eBay, the trolls on YouTube, they're just going to yell bait and switch and just tell you to go F yourself. But still, there's really nothing you can do about it. Well, okay, yeah, you can play the game. You can tell these people that, it's not that bad of a game. I don't know what you're smoking. But still, there's really not much you can do about it. As far as anything else is concerned, well, the game may have some, like Ian said, there were a couple glitches or something. There were some bugs. And like I said, I haven't played it because I don't have a system to play it. So, as far as I'm concerned, it looks like a great game. It's sad that it's lost a lot of people, but you're going to have that with any game that you have out. That's going to happen. Now, okay, granted, I may be talking out my ass on this because I don't play it, but like I said, it seems like a great game to me. So, I don't know. It's like a beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. So whoever's seeing this, they have to interpret it how they want. Is it good to them? Is it ugly to them? Is it horrible to them? It's their call, not mine, not yours. It's theirs. Plain and simple. Speaking of games losing people left and right, let's talk about Pokemon Go for a moment. Oh, God. Pokemon Go, I don't even know where to start anymore on this. I have so many friends that are playing this, it's unreal. I don't have a phone to play this, because you need to have a smartphone. I know there are people that are playing this on, tablets. I don't see how the hell they're playing it on tablets, but they can play it on tablets as far as I can tell. I don't have a phone to play this. I don't want a phone to play this, because I'll spend hours playing this damn thing, and I'll freaking go broke playing it. I know that for a fact. I'll go broke playing this. But as far as I can tell, it's kind of neat, but it's losing people left and right. After Niantic did that massive update where they removed the footstep system, which was busted anyway. I did read that. It was busted anyway. Apparently they have done a few other updates that I've read about, but the players are still dropping off. Like I was saying earlier with No Man's Sky, you're going to have burn-off on this. And this is one of those games that it caught the public's attention at a good moment. It was something Pokemon-related. It was something you didn't need to own a Nintendo system to play. And it was something that, in your opinions, hey, this is really cool. I'm a Pokemon trainer now. But now apparently you can't leave Pokemon at a gym. Something bad. I was reading something about something bad will happen if you leave them at the gym, but I couldn't get the article to load up right. Then there's a dozen other articles about, I know Niantic's permanently banning the cheaters, because I love the tagline in that, kiss your sweet Pidgeys goodbye. that still makes me laugh to this day. That still makes me laugh. But yeah, a game like this, you're going to have the burn-off. Now, like I said before, I was going to probably pay homage to the CU podcast a few times, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this, because, they inspired me to start my own podcasts, and I know that Pat and Ian were trying to figure out when the burn-off was going to be. I kind of think it's coming. I think we're just seeing the initial ripples. Think of it like a hurricane. Ironic, because there's one on the Atlantic seaboard right now. But think of it like a hurricane. You're going to see the ripples of the incoming storm, because the wind's going to blow the water, and the water's going to wash up on the shore, and you're going to see the ripples of the water being pushed. And I kind of think we're seeing that now with Pokemon Go. We're seeing the ripple effect happening. We're seeing the players that are going to be jumping ship first, and everybody's going to be like, well, why are they jumping ship? And then they're going to find out why the hard way. And the ones that jump ship are going to go, well, see, we knew this was going to happen. That's why we left. That's why we stopped playing it. It's sort of like a reverse pyramid scheme. Instead of having one person or one group being in charge at the start of it and racking in all the money, then having everybody that comes in later getting screwed. Yeah, there's a beautiful one of those going on the net right now. But yeah, having that, Pokemon Go is sort of like the reverse of that. Everybody was hyped to play it. I'll flat out say that. Even I thought it was sweet. Then when I found out you need to have a smartphone to play it or a tablet, I'm like, great, that doesn't really do me beans. Then I got a tablet, but I couldn't work. There was a small little glitch with it. Only it wasn't a glitch that made it unusable. It was a glitch that made it unusable for me, because it had a stupid touch-sensitive thing with the upper numbers, and if I pushed it too light, it didn't register the button I was pushing. If I pushed it too hard, it thought I wanted the upper line, and I just couldn't work around that, so I got rid of it. But nonetheless, finding out that this game came out, I'm like, hey, this is really cool. And then you have like a lot of the problems that first appeared with it, like people getting mugged, people getting killed, those idiots in California that trespassed and then fell off a cliff, who somehow managed to survive. You had two deaths now linked to this game in Japan, where it finally came out. Yeah, that figures. Japan finally gets Pokemon Go, and they have two dead people. They have two deaths that they had to deal with related to this game. The first one being because the guy was charging because the driver, I should say, I don't know if it was a man or a woman at this point, I don't remember the article, if it was a man or a woman, was charging their phone because they were playing the game, and then another one that just was playing the game. So, you have all those. And you wonder why people are starting to jump ship on it. Well, there's a ton of good reasons for it. Now, they're coming out with some newer stuff. They're coming out with a buddy system. They're coming out, I know Niantic said something about wanting to do trades. I don't know if that ever came out yet. I know they want to expand and add the Johto Pokemon into this. And I know that there are a lot of places that are starting to take advantage of this. There are still signs up that say, we welcome Pokemon trainers. I saw one at Walmart. I saw one at Dollar Tree near me. I saw one, ironically, at a bookstore that I drove past. It said, Pokemon trainers welcome. And then you have a lot of the places that they're removing that they want themselves removed as gyms or Pokestops. I don't blame them on that. So this game has a lot of ups and downs that it has to deal with. And the problem is, can they deal with them? See, this is my question. Can they deal with the ups and downs and then fix all the major issues that they're going to have? They should have realized that hospitals and government federal cemeteries were not going to want to be locations where they're going to want to have Pokemon wandering around for people to walk around with their phone and try to catch them. Sure, they're going to get exercise, but they're also getting in the way in hospitals. They're defiling graves in cemeteries. All for what? A virtual Charmander? Oh, I'm sorry. You probably got a whole buttload of Pidgeys, don't you? It's just one of those games that I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Pokemon fever hasn't been this high since, hell, ever. I think even when it first came out, Pokemon wasn't as popular as it is right now because of Pokemon Go. But at the same time, common fucking sense, people. Holy Christ, common sense. Don't screw around with this. I mean, there's not really anything else I have to say about this. There really isn't anything else I really want to say about it. Do I think it's a great game? Yes. Do I think it's wonderful that people are getting off their ass and exercising by walking around? Oh, absolutely. Do I think it's great that there are people getting killed because of incompetent morons and the fact that the game's developer, Niantic, didn't have the foresight to think maybe we shouldn't include hospitals as Pokestop locations? Yeah, I would have done a little more research into what locations we should avoid having before we roll out this game. But all in all, it's not that bad. So I kind of think I give it a thumbs up. It's pretty cool. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. So, you never know. All right. On to anime news, and let me just start off with Pokemon. Now, everyone should remember this. 2 weeks ago, everyone was psyched and excited for the epic conclusion of the Kalos League. Yep, that's right, the Kalos League. The league that Ash was kicking ass and taking names. Well, for those of you out there wondering what happens, let me give you a big spoiler alert if you haven't heard about it already. He lost. Again. He put up one hell of a fight. The internet's still pissed about it, but damn if he did not lose again and keep the losing streak alive. And I was trying to figure out how many it was. I had it at 0-7, and then I recounted, and it's like 0-6. Either way, he has yet to win a league itself. He won the Orange Islands. He won the Battle Frontier. He won a couple other stupid little in-between ones. But he has yet to win the Pokemon League itself. His team was pretty good in this one, I will admit that. Though I think if he would have brought his own Charizard into the mix and had that transported to him, he could have probably done a little better. Charizard might have actually put up a fight against Alan's Charizard and may have actually weakened it enough for Greninja to finish it off. But what's pissing off the fans, and I agree with them to a point on this, and it's that exact word, a point. I agree with them to a point. They're pissed that Greninja lost to a Fire-type Pokemon. Okay, a Fire-type Pokemon. Charizard's a Fire-type, Flame Pokemon. Greninja's a Water-type. Greninja lost to Blast Burn. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the game, Blast Burn is the most powerful Fire-type move you can learn. But only the starter Pokemon can learn it. Only the starter fire type, I should say, can learn it. And it can only be learned when you and that Pokemon have a bond that is so powerful that nothing can break it. So in other words, your friendship's got to be maxed out with it in the game, but you have to have a strong bond with this to teach it. So for Alan's Charizard to know Blast Burn, you know that it has to be at a high level. Now let's think about it for a second. Ash's Greninja had its Mega Mode for how many episodes? It has a hard time and it isn't used to regulating the energy. I'm going to pull a little bit of DBZ out here in this. It's not used to regulating the energy that the power boost it basically gets from its Mega Evolution. Charizard X that Alan has is able to regulate its power because it's had more experience utilizing its Mega form. But now all hell's breaking loose and everything else. I haven't been following it. I didn't watch this week because I was busy. But I'm just trying to figure out why the internet's blowing up about this. I mean, if you actually sit down and think about it, okay, so fire beat water. That does happen. You know, look at the wildfires out in California. The fire was pretty much beating the water no matter what they did. But it also comes down to, besides, you know, the obvious that they want to have another series, they want to have another season, and in order to have that, Ash needs to lose so we can go to the next region, Alola, which I'm not even. I'll talk about that later. Believe me, you're not gonna like it, but I'll talk about it later. But for Ash to basically lose the Pokemon League again in Kalos isn't really a hardship. But knowing that the internet's pissed off, and this is what gets me. They're mad because Ash's Greninja lost to Charizard. Get a life at this point. I mean, it's a freaking anime show. And believe me, I'm what most would call an otaku. If I'm telling you to get a life because you're flipping out because Ash lost again, okay, I'm pissed he lost again too, but at least I'm taking it with dignity. Sure, I'm upset that he lost again. Yes, he did really well. This time he got all the way to the final round. This is the furthest he has gotten. Up until this point, the furthest he had gotten was in the Sinnoh League, but then he just drew badly against Tobias. If Tobias wouldn't have been in the Sinnoh League, I honestly think Ash would have won that because he would have had the team that could do it. He had Torterra, he had Staraptor, it was a Staravia or Staraptor. He had Pikachu, he had Infernape, he had Gliscor, he had Buizel, he had the A+ team. The problem was he drew bad when it came to taking on Tobias. Because when he faced Tobias, he used Heracross, Torkoal, Gabite, Sceptile, Pikachu, and the last one's escaping me. The last one's escaping me. Heracross. He had Heracross. But he lost because Tobias somehow managed to capture and train legendary Pokemon. These Pokemon are legendary for a reason. Darkrai was only ever introduced in the movies before we saw him in the damn series. So now he's canon. You have, Latios, or Latios, I think it was. Yes, Latios. Latios should be the red one, if my memory serves me right. I don't know. I nicknamed mine Chiron after Legends in the game, so who cares? But, you have that one. They're legendaries for a reason. Sure, Ash managed to defeat Darkrai, but it took every single one of his Pokemon pretty much to do it. So by the time it was Sceptile taking on Latios, you knew that Latios was going to beat his ass to the ground and take his... you knew he was going to lose. It ended in a double knockout, but since Tobias still had Pokemon left, he got to go on to the final round, and he got to win the whole shebang. So, for Ash to lose in the Kalos League, I'm not really too upset about it. It's going to happen. We know it was going to happen. We could see it was going to happen. We just have to deal with it and move on. It's like I had to deal with it and move on. So long as Pikachu's still in the show, I could care less if he wins the league or not. He's not going to for a while until the series starts to run its course and they get tired of doing it because they want to have the same kid playing the lead. Remember, Pokemon Generations, that didn't pan out. Because they came right out and realized, we cannot have a different character be the lead in this. That doesn't work. But I just wanted to take a quick moment here. Let's run down, since the internet's still blowing up about this. It's been 2 weeks. I mean, there's bigger stuff to worry about. You have Ziggurat, or Z-Grade, ripping hell. Because like I said, I didn't see this week, so I know that episode 40's out. But I was thinking about this after, all this started happening, because the internet's still pissed off about this. So let me just go through, run down all the leagues that he's been in and, lost. The Kanto League. The very first one, the Kanto League. He was inexperienced. There was no way in hell he was going to win that. He got all of his badges out of pity except for Lieutenant Surge, who he actually earned his respect. You knew he was never going to win that. Johto, that bitch dragged on for eternity. I mean, Jesus Christ. Sweet Arceus, that dragged on for fucking eternity there. It took him, and I actually counted this, because I was a kid. I'm counting this every week. It took them 27 episodes. I shit you not. Unless I miscounted somewhere, it was about 27 episodes till Ash got to the next goddamn gym. No wonder it took so goddamn long. Now, some of them I know were a little shorter. Some of them he was maybe 5 or 10 episodes later. But I know that there was a 27 episode gap between gyms because I was going nuts. Then they split it into 2 different things, so it made it seem like it was longer. But at least Johto gave us one hell of a fight in the end. Ash's Charizard taking on Harrison's Blaziken. That is a fight, in my opinion, that will always rank in the top 10. The top 10 best Pokemon fights in the history of Pokemon fights. That is going to be in the top 10, at least. So that's amazing among itself. But, alright, so you had the Johto League. So after Johto, you had Hoenn. Hoenn, he just fucked up. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. He really knew nothing about what he was doing. It was basically, I'm just going to throw out attacks. He was basically mimicking Charlie from Real Steel. That's all he was doing. His first fight with Noisy Boy, he's just throwing out commands like they're Tic Tacs. That's all Ash was doing in the Hoenn League. Then you go to the Sinnoh League. The Sinnoh League, he actually was kicking ass. Sure, he had to take on Paul, but then, like I said, he drew bad luck by drawing Tobias as his next opponent, and that's what screwed him to the wall. Then you have Unova. Where didn't he fuck up in that? For starters, he picked piss-poor Pokemon to take in to the final battle. And I'm all for the friendship is magic and power crap. I will admit that friendship is magic and power all the way. It was not going to help you against these people. And you went up against your final opponent in Unova, had a Rolo, who evolved into Lucario. Now, I know in the games, Lucario can only be evolved when your Rolo evolves during the day with a high friendship. But it does not gain a superpower stat increase that instantly makes it OP. That was bullshit, and they knew it. It just came down to who was trained better, who did better training, and that's all it was. Ash got his ass kicked in that one, and he deserved to get his ass kicked in that one. He did not deserve to win Unova in any way, shape, or form. He fucked that one up big time. Then you have Kalos. Kalos, he actually did well. I only got to watch a little bit because then I got rid of cable, so I couldn't watch any more of it. Then I just recently started picking up some of the episodes again after I found out, oh, cool, the Kalos League starting. Okay, well, let's see how this is going to end. Maybe he'll finally win this one. Nope. And I know that there were a lot of theory videos. I love these on YouTube. You always have theory videos right before a big event happens in an anime series. There's always theory videos. And I'm going to get into a couple of those with my next topic. But for the Kalos League, it's like, oh, well, Ash is going to win the Kalos League. He's going to have what would Ash's ultimate team be? His ultimate team, we should have figured out, was just going to be his Kalos League, his Kalos region Pokemon. I mean, come on. It was simple. There was really no other way around it. That was going to be his ultimate team. But just in the long run and the long scheme of things, it just bugged me how piss poor this panned out. I mean, he did really well making it to the finals. You will not hear me arguing that. For him to make it to the finals, that was huge. I'm proud of him for that. Losing in the end, yeah, it was going to happen. But that was one hell of a fight. That makes it in the top 5 either way. But the flat out, I mean, the internet just started tearing him a new one. That's what pisses me off. But, you know, you never know. The next series is supposed to be Aloha, or Aloha, or however the fuck you pronounce it. Yeah, it's just, oh, God, it's a cluster. It's just a cluster. Speaking of Pokemon, let me get this last Pokemon topic out of the way, then I'm done with Pokemon for this podcast. And I do mean that, unless I reference it or something. Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. The new infamous titles coming out for the Nintendo 3DS. For those of you unfamiliar with these, congratulations. And I mean that for a reason, and I'll explain why in a moment. For those of you that are familiar with these, I pity you. For those unfamiliar, like I said, congratulations. Pokemon Sun and Moon are the newest Pokemon games coming out for the Nintendo 3DS. They're coming out this year. I think it's like November or October they're coming out. So, they've introduced a tremendous amount of what they call Alolan forms. I know the five that originally came out were Vulpix, Ninetales, Sandshrew, Sandslash, and Exeggutor. I find those hilarious. Exeggutors has become a freaking meme, the likes of which no one will ever be able to top. But now there's like newer ones coming out. You have like now these, I don't know if any of these are official or not, because so many rumor ones started coming out that it wasn't even funny anymore. I saw one where there's like a Grimer that's lava, a Muck that's lava. I know that there's a Raichu that was confirmed. There's an Alolan Raichu. That one was confirmed. I don't know if the Lava Grimer or the Lava Muck are confirmed. Those actually look pretty badass. I think that'd be pretty cool. They'd be like a fire type or something. That'd be pretty neat. There was supposedly an Alolan Pikachu form, which I thought looked ugly, and I'm really hoping that that's not confirmed, because if you fuck up Pikachu, you might as well just close up the shop, because you're now messing with your damn mascot for this. If you screw that up, you might as well just close up shop and call it a day. And there were a few other ones. I know there was one for like some of the birds, like not the ones that are actually indigenous to the region, but like Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot. I know that there was like an alternate form that was revealed, but I don't know if it was official, if it was confirmed, or if it was just somebody's idea of, yeah, this is what I want in the game. Because that's where, when I was mentioning earlier, all these fan theories, that's where these start to become a pain in the ass. Because then you'll have people that'll go, oh, well, I really hope that this is going to be in the next game, or I hope that this will be in the next game. And then you have people like me who are trying to find out any information they can on it. I'm not like Ian from the CU podcast. I can't put myself in a closed environment, seal myself up in a bubble, or put myself under a rock for 6 months until the game comes out so that I don't know anything about it. But it's Pokemon. I mean, what the hell is there not to know? You know there's going to be new Pokemon. Ever since Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, there have been new forms, because there have been new evolution forms. So, you're going to have that. Technically, I could say since Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, if you really want to get technical, because cast form could change depending on what the weather was, but that, one Pokemon that was genetically built for that. But nonetheless, some of these things that are coming out, I don't know if they're confirmed. I'm hoping some of them aren't. I'm praying that a lot of them aren't. If they are, that's bad. If they aren't, if they are, that's bad. If they aren't, I'm glad. Like I said, I hope the Grimer and the Muck are real. Those look pretty badass. I will admit that. I hope those are real. I hope that Pikachu I saw for this is fake as hell, because that was ugly. So yeah. Whew. yeah, I'm just gonna end it on that. Yeah, hopefully it'll come out. I don't know the exact date. I know it's coming out this year, so look forward to it. I know there's gonna be like a lot of DLC events for this crap since the 3DS and all that. So yeah, look forward to it. Okay, time to talk about a different anime that's not in Pokemon. I did my quota for that, so Game Freak and Nintendo, you know where to find me. Dragon Ball Super is, I think, nearing the end of the Future Trunks arc. And I say I think it's nearing the end because of just how the episodes seem to be going. Last week's was epic. They get back to the future. Yeah. We find out that Yajirobe decided to live thanks to Korin and ends up hiding every time there's a battle. That's true Yajirobe style. We find out Mai's still alive. Hey, that's great, even though Trunks denies that they have a relationship. That's bullshit. That is grade A bullshit, and you know it, boy. But what I want to know is how they're supposed to be kids. I don't remember them being small in Trunks' future. But then again, Akira Toriyama is known for forgetting stuff. I mean, he didn't even remember that Saiyans were born with tails. That's why Trunks and Goten didn't have one. And, you know, it happens. Hell, the man created Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Kai. Happily, I don't think he had a hand in GT, and if he did, that's a blight on an otherwise spotless record. Long before Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is a bigger blight on everybody. But Dragon Ball Super is really good. It turns out now that Goku Black, or Black as he's known, now has the ability to go Super Saiyan Rose, which is a level I'm assuming either on par or above Super Saiyan Blue. I like how Vegeta just got his ass whooped. I mean, I'll admit this, he put up one hell of a fight. When it comes to Vegeta, he will not go down without a fight. He will piss and moan and try his damnedest to win. Then if he gets defeated or he starts getting his ass whooped, Goku or somebody else usually steps in to save the day. In this case, Goku just instantly transformed, told Trunks, get Vegeta out of here, and he just went up. He knew what he had to do. It's like, you know what? He's gone Super Saiyan Rose. He's stronger than Vegeta. Yep, I think we might actually have our hands full with this. I might actually have to kick this up a notch and try a little harder. So, the episode's going pretty well. Then, it ends. And I always hate how they do this. They always build up the episode. They always get right to the good part, and then that's when the ending credits start to roll, and and then you start going, God damn it. I didn't want this to happen yet. I didn't want it to end yet. But you know it's going to happen. So, what ends up happening is at the end of it, and spoilers for those that haven't seen it, but come on, I mean, it's been big news now. Zamasu, and I hope that I'm pronouncing that right, appears out of nowhere. Now, I don't know if this is the same Zamasu that Goku knew, that Goku met. It could be, I don't know. But he appears, stands right next to Black, and makes the credo, I plan to kill you. I said I was going to kill you. Because he's pissed that human beings are, as he calls it, brutal and uncivilized. Yeah, well, memory serves, I think the Kais were too at one point. But what the hell do I know? So, that's where the episode ends. Now, do I think the series is going well with this? Oh, hell yes. Basically, you have a Dragon Ball Z series. Ever since the Android Saga, you better find a way to squeeze Future Trunks in there. I mean, even GT sort of did it, and GT sucked. I mean, let me just talk about the elephant in the room for a second. GT blew, okay? In my opinion, it blew. It sucked. It reeked. It was ungodly. There are 2 decent fights, and I mean that. 2 decent fights in the whole goddamn series. And none of them are the main fights. The only one that could even come close is Goku versus General Rildo. That's it. Either Rildo or Rillo. I don't remember how it's pronounced. That's the only fight that you might be able to consider a main fight. Otherwise, the only other one is Goku versus Legic. That's it. Those are the only two good fights in that entire series. Even the Dark Dragon fights sucked. The final battle with, Shenron and Omega Shenron, that sucked. The ending sucked. And don't even get me started on that god-awful movie. So, to wash away that, I think Dragon Ball Super has a lot of potential left in it. Oh, do I ever see a lot of potential left in this. The fact that Goku has that button from Xenos, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He has that little button. That's really cool. I get the feeling he's going to push that accidentally or something, and he's going to appear and just go to town. Either he's going to, or his assistants are just going to go to town on Zamasu. And he's probably going to look at Goku and go, well, why is this why you were helping? I wasn't helping him. I was helping him. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope Goku gets to stay friends with, Xenos or whatever he is. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But I hope he gets to stay friends with him. I think that was really cool. But yeah, like I said, I kind of think the series, at least this arc in the series, is starting to run its course. I think it's almost near the end. So what are they going to do after this? I mean, how do you top this? What are you going to have, like the revival of Majin something or other? Because if you think about it, the first two arcs went right along with the movie. The first two movies that were released in years. You had Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. So, those were the first two main arcs. Then you had the tournament, which, in and of itself, I'll admit, you kind of needed it. It wasn't bad. That could have been a little better. Could have been a little better. But, all in all, it's not bad. There were a couple filler arcs that I know people were bitching about. Like the one where they all wound up on that alien planet. Because Goten and Trunks hopped in the back of Monaka's delivery van. But, if you think about it, it was filler arc that led into the current arc. Because remember the machine Bulma was working on creates the power source for Trunks' time machine. So, yeah, tell me that isn't what you'd call kosher there, right? But, yeah, I kind of think it's starting to run its course. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am. But otherwise, if it's going to run its course, I think it's not that bad. I mean, it's been putting up one hell of a fight. It's really great, I will admit that. Comparative to a lot of other anime lately, it is great. I mean, it's old school, so you're dragging in the old fans that watched it when they were growing up, the ones that grew up with it. They're watching it. They're probably sitting down with their kids going, I watched him. When I was your age. He turned Super Saiyan for the first time. I was sitting on your grandmother's couch. He turned Super Saiyan and beat Frieza to the ground. That is the symbol of good right there. You should strive to be like him. Somebody that, protects the innocent. And that's what they could do. But I guarantee you that there are parents that are probably saying that grew up watching this, and they're just watching it with their kids now. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Alright, speaking of anime that people either hate or love, Sword Art Online is getting a movie, and oh my god, is it fucking amazing. The newer trailer just got released not too long ago. I saw it this morning, and holy Christ, is it beautiful. Let me paint the picture for you here. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, Sword Art Online was a visual novel that was adapted into a two-season anime. A two-season anime series, which, you love it or hate it, it's good. You got to watch the Japanese version, though. The English version sucks balls. We did not do good jobs of picking out the voice actors on this one. I'm sorry to say it. We did not do a good job of picking out the voice actors. We sucked at it. We fucked that up royally. The Japanese version is beautiful. This trailer, from what I gathered about it, now there were subtitles with it, but the subtitles were really, really small. They figure out a way to make holograms and real-life people live in harmony. So Yui gets to live with Kirito and Asuna, which is really touching because anybody that's ever seen the series knows why. I'm not going to spoil it here because it's too sad even for me to say it. Then you have all hell's breaking loose, and Kirito and Asuna have to fight. This is amazing how they're blending real world and the game together. So it's like life or death then. So we're right back where we started with the first one, but oh my god, this trailer got me hooked. Now, I'm hoping that it's not just building my hopes up really, really high and then it's going to bring them down to the ground and crash and burn them. But still, I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool. I like it. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to add it to my collection. I have the Japanese version, Season 1 and 2, and I cannot wait to add this to my collection. I really can't. So it comes out sometime next year. 2017, sometime next year. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And that's really all I got to say on it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of movies, recently, a few weeks ago, Transformers, the movie, not the 2007 Michael Bay version or the 2005 or whatever year that came out, not that version. I'm talking about the 1986 version. Recently celebrated its 30th anniversary. First off, woohoo! Woohoo! Kudos to that. That's huge. To still be remembered 30 years after your movie came out. I mean, let's remember, Back to the Future, they had a 30th anniversary edition that came out. Which is a little creepy because that came out, I know that came out like 85, but I swear I saw those somewhere. But either way, it was like an anniversary edition. But still, Transformers the movie is really cool. And there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about that movie. Like they had to add one swear word. One swear word so it would get a PG rating so it would get more screen time. Because if it would have stayed clean without that swear word, they added shit. That's what it was. If they wouldn't have done that, it would have gotten a G rating and it wouldn't have gotten as much airtime because PG movies have more airtime during the day. No kids are going to be going to the movies during the day. They got school. Unless this is coming out in the summer, they got school. So that kind of sucks. But it's good that they did it because it gave so much more to the movie. I still like two parts in it. When Optimus dies, it's sad, it's touching, but it kind of, in my opinion, it was passing the torch. Now, I didn't see this in the theaters. My one uncle who recently passed, he rented it for me the one year. We always watched movies as a family on the holidays, and Andy didn't want to watch movies with everybody because, they were always watching adult movies. No, not porn or anything. We were talking like R-rated movies, stuff like that. And I just didn't want to watch that crap. So he would say, okay, well, you get to pick one movie, and that's what you get to watch. Hey, cool. So the one year, I'm like, hey, I'm really into Transformers. Hey, look, they got a Transformers movie. He goes, oh, you'll like this. Oh, he wasn't joking. Oh, he was not joking at all. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, so Optimus dying, to me, was like the passing of the torch. He passed the torch, basically. Now, he wanted Ultra Magnus to take it. Let's just be honest about it. He was expecting Ultra Magnus to pretty much become Ultra Magnus Prime or something. Wasn't going to happen. Or you know, Magnus Prime. It was never going to happen. Hot Shot ended up getting it and became Rodimus Prime. That to me was cool. I didn't see any of the G2 series, so I had no idea who Rodimus was. I didn't care who Rodimus was, so it was just really cool. But all in all, it was definitely entertaining, but for it to celebrate 30 years, that's damn impressive. And it hasn't really aged. I mean, you can watch the whole movie on YouTube, and I do mean that. There's like a paid version, and there is a free one out there on YouTube, both of which you can watch. And if you compare it to cartoons nowadays, it has not aged. It looks just as good as some of the cartoons nowadays. It's got a more darker tone, color-wise, and I'm colorblind. So if I'm telling you it's got a little darker of a tone color-wise, that's actually pretty cool because they know what they're doing then. Because it's like, well, yeah, because you're feeling, the movie. You're feeling like, okay, this is definitely something that is a lot more thought was put into making this, which is really cool. And I personally think this is neat and unique, but I'm just still geeking out the fact that 30 years. And I was thinking, wait a minute, it couldn't be 30 years. And then I'm thinking in my mind, and I'm like, oh shit, that came out in 86, and it's 26. Yeah, that is 30 years, son of a bitch. I mean, damn. But still, nonetheless, it's cool. I'm excited. I'm happy that it's at 30 years. Here's to 30 more, basically, is what I'm saying. I hope it makes it. I hope to see a 60th anniversary, show it to my grandkids. That'd be great. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to get a drink of tea there. Okay. Well, now we're at the part of the podcast where I get to tell stories of eBay, baby. I basically have some stories for me as a seller on eBay because I've been selling it'll be 4 years come November. Yeah. Go figure. It'll be 4 years come November that I'll have been selling on eBay. And along that time, I have gathered up some strange and fun stories. Not a lot of it that happened to me, but some that I've heard, some stuff that I've seen, and some stuff that I just can't believe actually happened. So, this is hilarious. I started out selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I still sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards yet, actually. But I started out selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I had up a lot of cards the one time. And the person that bought them... Now, everybody out there that buys or sells on eBay, you know that there's a amount of time in which you have to pay before you'll get an unpaid item case filed against you. So, it's usually about 2 days. 2 days pass. I open up the unpaid item case. Well, I should say it opened up automatically. I had it fixed up for that. And I get a message. Now, I'm not going to say who the user was. I don't even think they're on eBay anymore, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. But I get a message. I know it's not in my inbox anymore. I've looked for it. A lot of my older messages I either deleted or they got deleted themselves. But I get a message saying that, well, I don't know why you opened an unpaid item case against me. I thought you were going to send me the cards. Then if I liked them, I would pay for them. That's, in my opinion, one of the lamest excuses I have ever heard for why I didn't pay. I mean, I've heard some, legitimate ones, oh, crap, I didn't realize that, the auction ended this early. Or, oh, I didn't realize that the auction ended. I thought I still had, a couple days, which is fine. Because even I lose track from time to time of what's going to sell and what doesn't, when the auctions are going to end and when they don't. I think one's going to end this day, and I got, 2 days left to go on it. So, yeah, those I understand. But this was just weird and unusual to me. I didn't really reply to it. I don't know what happened. I mean, I remember getting my final value fee credit for it, but it's just some of those weird and unusual things. So, stuff happens. You have weird and unusual things happen to you. If I have a lot of other stories, maybe I'll share them. I don't know. Like I said, won't say any names, mostly because I don't remember them anymore. I doubt they even remember me. But I really don't remember half the usernames anymore, so... I really hate to say it this way, but they're basically just, okay, that username, okay, that's fine. So I really don't remember them. They're like a blur. I mean, some of them I know, some of them I don't. And the ones I know are the ones I do business with a lot, so, yeah. But all in all, it's not too bad, so it's still pretty cool. All right. Well, I guess this is going to end up wrapping up the podcast, my first ever podcast. Hope I didn't go overboard. Hope I didn't talk too much. I'm really, really hoping that. So, yeah. Next time, I'll talk about some stuff anything that really tickles my fancy or, like I said earlier, gives me a chubby. Don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'll talk about something good. Maybe I'll talk about something bad. Maybe I'll have some guests. Yeah, probably not any guests, though. Maybe I'll have a co-host. Yeah, I doubt that, too. But you never know. Something might happen. Something might not. So, yeah. If anybody out there would like to sponsor the podcast, which you're probably not going to want to, that's fine. I understand. If you do, shoot me a message on at Otaku Roads. I don't really get much mail in there, and that would make me feel special. So, yeah. I guess that's about it. So, till next time, everybody out there on the internet and everywhere else, I will catch you on the flip side.